Hello and welcome to World of Tanks with Trapsikis. I've got an interesting game for you today. This one is by Donny in my clan, TBM, and we happen to be on opposite sides of the game. So if you take a look at the enemy lines here, I'm the second from the bottom there, Trapsikis, playing the French artillery piece, the AMX 13F3. Now, I wasn't having a particularly good game, but Donny was. So I wanted to upload my own game, but it would have been boring to most of you. However, Donny's game is quite a bit better to watch. So I'll be playing his replay, but I will be giving you updates from my perspective as well. Now, as an artillery piece, I was moving down to H9 to get some shots onto the enemies. But as most of my shots mostly just missed the enemies, so I didn't do nearly as much damage as I wanted, but not the same can be said for Donny. So we're aware that this IS is being shot by the enemies, but we don't know by who yet. And now fortunately Donny spots the AMX there. Using auto aim, he manages to land a good shot. And the return fire misses, so no damage taken in return. Very nice. Donny moves up closer to get some more shots. Now this HTC for some reason decides to push forward without much support, which is a dangerous move. But fortunately Donny is there to help him out and takes out the Jagdpanzer. But this HTC keeps pushing, and fortunately for him Donny decides not to follow. As most people know, this is a death trap. If you push forward on the F line, you tend to get flanked from the north and south, as well as being shot at by artillery from the east, so it's not a very good place to be. So Donny turns his attention to the heavy line, which has been lost, except for the IS, which is surviving for now. But fortunately there's only 2 enemies on this line coming forward. And this tank that Donny's in has quite good frontal armor, the T28 prototype, so as long as he can use his angles properly, he can bounce shells as they come. Now, aiming at the turret, unfortunately he hit on the Tiger's left hand side of the turret, which caused an auto ricochet. Otherwise he should have penetrated, because he has plenty of penetration. Very nice. Even though it's a low roll, it still secures the fact that the T-3485 won't survive more than another shot. So no reason to complain about the first low roll. But this Tiger is a different matter. Tiger is a much more dangerous gun. Fortunately, Donny gets a high roll there, but the Tiger will still require 2 shots at least. And from the side, the T28 prototype's armor is not good enough to block the Tiger. Fortunately, artillery supports, and the Tiger is now a 1-shot. Okay, 2,500 done, almost 1,500 blocked. Donny is having quite a good game. However, it looks quite dismal. There are 3 tank destroyers, 3 artillery pieces, and a light tank remaining on the enemy team. But fortunately for Donny's team, my team did not work together well, so they've spread out, and the T20 can take his time using his mobility to try to outflank the T25-2. Unfortunately that's not the case. As you can see, the T25-2 take out the T20, and now there are 2 TDs bearing down on the artillery pieces. Now Donny does something very good here. I'm just going to pause. He's communicating to the other players to find out what their health is like at the moment, to find out what options are available to him. But being only 2 artillery pieces, even if they're full health, it's not going to matter much, because the tanks that are targeting them will probably be able to kill them in one shot anyway if they're full health. So unfortunately, even though he's attempting to communicate well with his team, it's not going to help much. Now Donny goes back to protect the base, which is his only option, because his only remaining artillery piece has rushed our base. And unlucky for him, the enemy GW Tiger takes him out. Now, for a moment there, Donny was in a 1 versus 6. So, I would imagine he's dreaming of a Kolobanov's medal about now. Then he managed to take out the Jak-88, which is probably one of the most dangerous tanks that was remaining, so I'm sure he's happy about that. And we know the SU-122 and the T-25-2 are on low health. Now this is a dangerous position, because Donny can't expose too much of his sides without taking hits. Fortunately, the SU-122 comes forward, so now he knows exactly where the 2 enemies are. And both are one-shots, so if he can isolate them, he should be able to eliminate them. Unfortunately, over-angling, so the T-25 penetrates, but that's an affordable mistake. Fixes the angling and blocks the next shell, and manages to take out the other TD. Now there's only 3 artillery pieces remaining on the enemy team. Okay, so at this stage I was communicating to my other 2 artillery pieces and trying to convince them to stay back and pre-aim the gully in the F line so that I can rush forward and spot. However, they both ignored me and both rushed the F line. I'm sure Donny didn't know this at this stage, but if he went around this way, they would have come to cap, and he would have probably killed me, because when I realized my allies were coming down the F line, I decided to reroute and come up the 4 line to come around the C line into their base. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. So now Donny gets GW Tiger and the M44 simultaneously, and he makes a very good decision here. He switches aim to the M44 and rams the GW Tiger. So he takes both of them out before they can reload. Now at this stage I'm about C3, I can't exactly remember, but I had a very difficult decision to make. I could either follow him and try to spot him, but at this stage I didn't know how many hit points he had remaining, or I could hide, and if I bide my time right, then I can try to cap. To me, it's never an option to drown myself, because that's, you eliminate yourself, you don't actually help anything. So I don't do the idiot bubbles, but so my options were to either follow him and find him, or to hide, bide my time and cap. Now, considering the amount of armor he has and the fact that I didn't know how much hit points he was on, I decided to hide around their base and try to guess how much time it would take him to get to our cap, because I was assuming that he would go look for me and, giving up, try to cap. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. Donny does well not to drive over anything in case an artillery piece is watching. He glances at the obvious arty spots, and then I start capping. He doesn't realize it right away, so he caps a little bit as well, which reassured me, because now I know he should not be able to make it back to his base to reset my capping. And now, with only a few seconds remaining, I'm going to pause this replay. So at this stage, unbeknownst to Donnie, I'm hiding behind that yellow bush in his line of sight. And as the countdown ends, his cursor is more than likely directly on my tank. So if he fired the shot right here, he would have killed me. Fortunately for me, he doesn't know this, and I managed to cap out. Let's have a quick look at the post-game stats. So for Donnie, there's a very good result. It's an ace tanker, bruiser, duelist, fire for effect, and shellproof. A very nice medal. A very nice array of medals that he collected there. The Radley Walters, gaining his 8 kills. The Pascucci's medal for getting 2 SPG kills, one of those medals that was recently downgraded. The Steel Wall, high caliber, and unsurprisingly, the Top Gun. If we have a look at the team details, you can clearly see I did not have a very good game. However, with a lot of luck and a little bit of planning, I managed to outflank him and outcap him without taking a shot, which awarded me with the Raider medal for the first time in my World of Tanks career. And if you look at the personal details, even running a premium account, he barely made a profit of about 6,000 credits, so I guess he was shooting quite a bit of premium rounds. Very well done, Donnie. Sorry I took your Kolobanov away, and thank you for watching.